So yes, today we're dealing with the importance of having a financial plan. A popular saying goes, he who fails to plan, plans to fail. So in order for you to actually achieve your life goals, you need to plan. So there are several financial goals. If you wish you have several financial goals to achieve, but to reach them you need to plan. All right, so you need to have a financial plan in place, which is a step-by-step approach to meet one's life's goal. In other words, a financial plan acts as a guide which you go through in life's journey. Essentially, it helps you to be in control of your income, your expenses, your investments, such that you can manage your money and achieve your goals. It may be possible to save money without having a financial plan, but it may not be a most efficient way to go about it. So when you create a financial plan, you get a good deal of insight into your income and your expenses. You can track and cut down your costs consciously. This automatically increases your savings in the long run. So to enjoy a better financial life and a financial standard, you really need to plan. So this morning we're going to have a guest in the house to really talk and elaborate on all of that. And he's none other than Pastor Timothy Ehis Aligbe. He's a certified project management professional he's also a UK member of the British Project Management Society, also a financial control expert. He worked as a banker with the United Bank for Africa. He's an accountant in the United Bank for Africa, in the United African Company, Eastern Region Project Facility Manager, and also in Port Harcourt Wharf. He's now managing the Athens Limited, a company into marine hydrographic inspection, construction of gas filling station and fuel filling stations. He's also in charge of Brandworks Limited, a company into factory setup, automation, and preventive inspection. He's married and he's blessed with 2 kids. So you're welcome to the show, Pastor Timothy.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So it's Money Monday today, and today we're dealing with finances. We've realized that in life, in order to go far, you need a plan. And in order to succeed financially, you need a financial plan. So a lot of the times when we look at our society today, we see a lot of people running into debts. We see a lot of people borrowing money with no plan on paying. You see a lot of persons have money come into their hands, and before you know it, it's all gone. So can you tell us in a nutshell, what is financial planning?
Okay, thank you very much. Financial plan is a task of organizing your resources, your cash flow, your income towards actualizing or achieving a set goal. Why a financial plan is a document where you've further broken down your goals into phases, into itemizing them with costs attached to it so you can achieve them as a financial plan.
Wow, okay. So we need to have all the expenses, all the income and expenses, and then attach various costs to them so we can know where our monies are actually going to.
Exactly.
So do tell us, what are the benefits of having a financial plan?
One of the most important benefits of having a financial plan is that it gives you a sense of direction. And also it serves as a benchmark for your spending. You know when to spend, how much to spend, and why you're spending on a particular task or a particular activity or goals at the process. And also another benefit of having a financial plan is that it helps you to eliminate wastes. That is, having a challenge with impulse spending. I'll give you an instance. If you have a plan to maybe build a house for yourself maybe the next 2 or 3 years, and you further broke down your project into phases, say acquiring of the land and also doing the foundation, the block works, roofing and other finishing. And you've done your project, you've taken your goal to the point of say roofing the house. I told you why impulse is very important in this. Now you're needing just 2 million, for example, maybe to roof your house, and you're there. For a reason, a colleague of yours in the office just come and say, my friend, there's this car that I'm using. Maybe the car is worth like 5 million, for instance, and He's saying, I'm giving it away to you just for 2 million. To you, this luxury car for 5 million, just for 2 million, like that. To you, it's an open door. It's an
Yes.
achievement.
You just
pay for
pounce on it.
Forgetting that
You already have
a plan. And for instance, maybe from your cash flow, you only can set aside maybe 200,000 on a monthly basis to fund your original goal, which is your financial plan. And it will take you 10 months to raise that 2 million which you have already with you. Buying that car, you just impulse. It means that you need another 10 months again to build that same financial base to roof your house. And of course, you know very well that having that car to yourself for private use, you may not achieve your goal anymore. Because why? Your overhead has increased. Maintaining the car, following the car, and all the rest. Except you want to resell to make profit and go back to your project.
Wow. Okay, we're going to go on a short time out now. And when we come back, we will continue on this discourse.
Thank you.
All you have made will praise you, O Lord. Your saints will extol you. They will tell of the glory of your kingdom and speak of your might, so that all men may know of your mighty acts. You must remain in the tabernacle of praise. Learn what it takes to offer acceptable praise in the Praise series with David Ibiomi. Winning with Praise, Part 1-6. Praise for enjoying His grace, Part 1-5. The Miracle of Power of Praise, Part 1-5. Praise Dimension for the Supernatural, Part 1-5. And so much more. To get the MP3 and DVDs, make a purchase via www.smhos.org/store. You can also call +234 703 894 5714 +234 809 521 6466.
You're welcome back to Daybreak on Salvation TV. And of course, it's Business Monday. And today we are dealing with money matters, the importance of having a financial plan. And we have Pastor Timothy Aligbe in the house, a professional financial expert who is here to talk to us and help us understand the importance of having a financial plan. You're welcome back to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, so we were actually dealing on the benefits of having a financial plan before we went on the break, and you were trying to elaborate on impulse spending. Like someone already has a plan, the plan is already channeled towards a particular direction, and suddenly there's something that comes up, and because the person is not disciplined enough, he pounces on an offer that was out of the plan, which simply means the person has gone back to square zero because you need to achieve the set task you already prepared for. So when someone finds themselves in such a position, how do they handle such a situation actually? Okay,
like I said earlier, you need discipline to implement your financial plan. You need to have self-restraint, discipline. Because, for instance, as I said earlier, if you are building a house, and for any reason you tend to change your plans to go acquire that vehicle I said earlier, which is not part of your plan, because anything you're spending your money, your income for, that will not add value to your original financial goals or financial plans is impulse. Because it will give you setback in achieving or actualizing your goals. So how you mitigate it is to avoid those impulse spending. Because you already have a goal, and financial plan will guide you to have a time frame to actualize your goal. The reason for financial plan is because of managing your cash flow. Now, as I said, if you're in a paid employment, and for any reason you're able to set aside maybe 200,000 naira on a monthly basis after your family upkeep and other runnings, and you have a target. So when you're spending, you're careful not to, because anything that takes that 200,000 naira, which was to be kept for your goals out of you, it gives you a setback. To avoid setback, you must have discipline. So discipline is the key, because you can have a financial plan and not stick to it and still remain square zero.
Wow. Okay, so it's possible to have a financial plan.
Yes.
And still not achieve it.
Yes, without discipline.
Because we don't have discipline.
Yes.
Okay, so does that explain a situation where people are put under pressure to, okay, for instance, you have someone who's earning a particular amount of money, and they have kids that are in schools that require some certain amount of money that is way high up there. Maybe due to some societal pressure, they want to meet up to some societal standard, all right, of life. And yes, they are working. They have a plan. But the income that comes in from their work, most times, is there a way they can actually plan to a point where they can be able to sustain that kind of lifestyle, even if they don't earn up to that comes into them every month?
Yes, if I can add to what the question just asked. You see, any person should be able to plan within your means. You're talking about having challenges with meeting up with maybe schools, fees for the kids, and some other day-to-day or life runnings. But let's look at it critically. There are schools of different class, different costs. What matters is that your children are going to school. If you are not comfortable with the school they're going because of your level of finance, then you go back to your cash flow and work on your cash flow. Because when your cash flow increases, you will know when to increase your overhead. Because that's what most people, I say this oftenly, most people goes into borrowing. It tends to meet up their goals. Two things are involved. It's either your goal is too bogus.
Yeah, non-achievable.
Yes, and you're not being realistic to yourself. You're not telling yourself the truth. That's one. And secondly, you're trying to race or run faster than your plan. Because a planning, good financial plan, will restrain you to a time frame. If I'm buying a car, for example, of 2 million, and I'm keeping that 200,000 naira per month to save to get that car, it means that I have 10 months to get that fund to buy that car. If I want to get that car in 3 months, I must go and borrow. There's nothing about it. So if you don't want to borrow, just go back and work on your cash flow. If your cash flow increases, you shorten the time of achieving your set goals.
So can you also tell us why a personal financial plan? I know there are different kinds of financial planning. There is a personal financial plan. There's also that for corporations and companies and things like that. Can you also tell us why it's really crucial for people to actually get to plan their lives?
In the first, one of the most important reasons why you plan your life is that it eliminates pressure. I can tell you that many persons have some health condition because of pressure, especially the men. Pressure. If you have a plan, you will know when to travel. Some persons travel for holiday, they cannot afford. They save for 2 years and off they go.
Spend it on a holiday.
Spend it on a holiday and come back on the same circle. So if you have a financial plan, it will remove pressure from you. Having a financial plan, it will give you a sense of direction. You will achieve things definite time quickly. Our father, Papa David, the Pastor Salvation Ministry, told us something ago. I think it was last year, New Year service. He was teaching about utilizing the times. That is your season. He talks about the morning season, the afternoon, and the evening. Okay, let's go back to planning. If you don't make good use of your afternoon season, which is the active years you have as a man, to save, to plan, to achieve things, when you get to your night season, it is difficult to meet your needs. So many persons die just because of small ailment, less than 100,000 naira, because they cannot afford it at old age. If you have a plan, you will tell yourself that it is, now that you're strong, you still have energy to yourself, you have everything you need. It is the best time to at least delay gratification. Put some things in order for yourself and for your family. Put some plans on ground. Utilize your opportunities very well. At that time of your night season, you will be at peace because you already have things working for you. So it is very important to have a financial plan. It guides you. Eliminate waste. You don't spend anyhow. You don't call you for a party and you spend all your money for the party at once. Who are you impressing in the first place? You're not impressing anybody. Forget you have life to live. And everybody has a time for flow. If you see anybody at old age complaining, it's because he or she did not utilize the plan. No plan. If you have a plan to guide you, plan is like a kid. It restrains your movement, your spending. It guides you. It's like a self-restraint. You know, as a human, there's this. You are pleasure-driven. You are comfort-driven. If you have a plan, it will reduce your tastes and your comforts, like your comfort, to hold you back a little, and it's gainful. Our father always told us, I say, don't be shameful what is gainful. So if anything is making you not live the life you want to live at this time, because you are funding, you're financing, you're moving your plans to the next level, relax. When the time comes to actually enjoy yourself, people will say, oh, it's worth it. It's worth it. So you must have a plan. It guides you, restrains you. So it's very crucial. If you don't want pressure, plan. If you don't want to have waste, please plan.
Okay. Now, people have jobs. There are people that work. There are people that expect cash flow at the end of every month. There are some persons also that don't do the monthly thing, all right? They have contracts that come. Sometimes they've already submitted some quotations for a while,
okay,
and they're not even expecting that this one will turn out the way it does,
yeah,
all right? So sometimes it's like some persons submit a quotation, and for some time they don't call them, and it's already out of their mind. Then suddenly there is a job at hand. Now, there are people that have monthly income, that they have monthly flows. There are some persons that don't have monthly flows. It just comes. Sometimes it comes, sometimes in a week, it comes like twice in a week, sometimes once in a week, sometimes at the end of the month, it comes 3 times. Now, for those ones that don't have a steady flow, all right, the steady flow in the sense that they cannot determine when the next money is coming, but they know things just come. All right, so how do you plan without having a constant flow, like a flow that is not determined?
Okay, it's very simple. You see, anybody who is into maybe self-employed, or you're into business, or you're into contract, as the case may be, you're not certain to be having this on a monthly basis.
Yes.
You send out your documents, your proposals, your whatever, what have you, and you expect to be called or to give in. Now, how did you utilize your last breakthrough? How did you utilize your last inflow? Did you spend everything that came to you? Is a big question.
Yeah, because there are some persons that once it comes, they
spend.
Hoping for
that is where the question lies. I can tell you this because this is one area that I'm privileged to be in as a self-employed. You see, running a business, you know that you may not likely get job or business or contract on a monthly basis. And in my own case, we have people who will pay salary on a monthly basis. So as an MD of a company, how do you ensure that your staff does not go home end of the month without their pay? They come to the office, resume doing their job with the mind that when the clock end of the month, their money must be given to them. You as the MD should have a thinking cap. What you should do is that every time you have a breakthrough, like what I do, I set aside salary for my staff in advance. As I'm talking to you, God accept us from the last flow we had. I've kept salary for my workers for the next 6 months. Because I don't want people to leave my institution, my office, because they are being owed or they are not paid. Then let's come back to your home front. I'll tell you this. As a parent, as a father, I have a relationship with my children, their school that they attended. And I talk to the manager, I say, come, can I be paying you people school fee in advance? And they even gave me 10%. They welcome the idea. So what I do is that the school fee for this year, I've already paid it to.
Wow,
yes,
all of it?
All of it. So as I pay it. So when the flow has not come, I'm not in any pressure of any kind, because those things that control me off balance, I've been taken care of differently. Okay, for instance, let's come back to domestic runnings of a home. And it's supposed to stocking of food in the house is not more of a tax that you cannot keep for the next 6 months. If you do these things, you as a person will be at peace. When you go out to get new flow, new contract, new PO, new whatever you know that the basics that will throw you off balance, that will cause you pressure, have been taken care of already. So if you see any person of that nature having that issue, they don't plan their previous flow. Plan your previous flow. If it costs, at times as an end of the company, I go home without nothing for myself because I've shared everything for every aspect of the business. And yeah, because
the staffs must be paid.
Yeah, they must be paid. How would you tell them? Oh, somebody who comes to work every morning, close in the evening. It's if you have a heart, this is not right. So at times I just cut off some things and tell myself, no. This must be done. So if you can plan your flow as an MD, as a company, as a business, it will eliminate pressure. Before you get the next flow, please, the one you already have, make do of it.
Wow. Okay. So can you also tell us what are the steps to having effective financial plans? Is there a how to create a financial plan?
Yes. Before you can have a good financial plan, you must first of all sit down and define what is your goal. What do you want to achieve? What is your goal? Do you want to build a house? Do you want to start up a business? Or you want to get married? It's your goal. And if your goal is to build a house, when? What's the duration? What's the time frame do you want to build this house? If it's 3 years, if it's 2 years, fine. Then the next step, break down your building project into phases. So with that phases, maybe you have a foundation phase, you have the phase of maybe do your block work to your roofing level, the roof itself, the finishing and everything is a phase. And for this phase, now do your costing. Allocate costs to each of these phases. When that is done, look at the current financial flow, income flow, and check what's the duration you will need to fund each phase of your plans. If, for example, it's a building you're building and you want to have foundation of your house, and they're giving you an estimate of 1 million, for instance, maybe you're building a bungalow. You should tell yourself, okay, how many months do I need to put up 1 million to execute this first phase, which is my foundation? So you, on your own, you know how much you can set aside. As an individual, if you want to achieve your financial goal, you must have self-restraint. It must take away some level of comfort from you. It must take away some level of comfort. It will bring discomfort. You may not be having that level of so-called enjoyment as you think, because you have a target you want to achieve. So all your overhead, you cut them off and push more of your income to that direction. So if you have if you can check your financial flow and see that, okay, this is how much and this is how many months I will need to fund this phase of my project or of my goal, it helps to go back and work towards and save towards it. And when you achieve that first phase, you should be happy. At least I'll achieve first phase. Second phase again, how much do I need? I need 2 million. How many months do I need more? 10 months. You push. I said financial plan gives you a sense of direction and focus. It makes you see your vision, your dream as it is achievable. Because when you plan it out, just tell yourself that it took me this amount of period, I'll achieve this goal. Because you're already seeing, it becomes visible to you. So these are some steps. First of all, define your goal. If you know your income, please don't do a bogus plan, because your cash flow will restrain you back. Except if you want to have a bogus plan, keep your plan first. Go back and work on your cash flow. If your cash flow increase, fine, you can do anything you want to do. Yes. As I said earlier, you must avoid that impulse. It affects your original plan. Come to fruition.
Okay, talking about the issue of impulse spending.
Yes.
Can it be totally avoided? Because I've seen situations where people have a plan, they are sticking to their plan, but also they have another supplementary budget, most likely, that sort out impulses. So I'm simply trying to understand, is it possible to avoid impulse in your everyday? It may not come every day, but is it possible to have a plan that at the end of the day you will not have impulse spending somehow?
So let me say this. Impulse spending is not totally bad if it will not affect your original plans. If your cash flow can continue with your laid down plans to achieve it, and your impulse does not affect it, then you're fine. You know what I mean? So if your cash flow will not be affected, then you're fine. But if it's affected, please, anything that will not add value to your original goals, is impulse. If you go ahead to spend it, and it will affect, it will take you, if you're to end up your plans in 10 years, you're going to go 15 years. Because the more you do impulse, the more you go back to get more cash flow, the more your time is being consumed.
Yeah, because also like in the aspect of health, human health, all right, nobody prays to be sick.
Yes.
All right, so you already have a plan.
Yes.
And you're following your plan. And some way, somehow, there's an issue of a health challenge that just pops up that was not in the original plan. How do you really balance all of that?
Okay,
since it's an unforeseen
what you ask next
circumstance.
is very dicey, because you need to be alive to achieve a plan.
Yes.
You need to be okay to push your plan. When I say funding your plan from your inflow, I'm not saying everything you get at the end of a month, for instance, you just push it to your plan. That's what I'm saying. You should keep okay, if you're earning 300,000, for example, if 100K can take care of your expense, your upkeep, and maybe some minor emergencies, then you're fine to keep 200 for your project as a flow for your plan. But if that emergency arises, that will need more of what you have, what you have kept for your project, you need to be alive first before you can continue that.
All right, we're going to go on a short break, and when we come back, we will be concluding on this one.
Thank you.
You are a product of how you think, and to think right, you need the right information. The Word of Life Bible Institute, WOLBI, is a 2-week intensive program known to teach men and women to think in line with God's Word. And now you can be a part of the ever-growing community of Kingdom Giants by registering for our online courses from anywhere in the world. To register, please follow these steps. Step 1. Visit www.smhus.org/WOLBI-online and click on the register button located at the middle of the page. Step 2. Click on Basic Certificate Course. Step 3. Click on View CAT and proceed to checkout. Step 4. Fill in your details and choose a payment option. Step 5. Confirm payment. Step 6. Start learning. Easy, right? For more information, please visit www.smhos.org/WOLBI.
You're welcome back to Daybreak on Salvation TV. And yes, we are dealing with money matters on Monday. So it's Monday Money Matters. And yes, we are dealing with the importance of having a financial plan. And we have Pastor Timothy in the house who has been doing so much justice to the subject matter. You're welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, so we are still dealing with the aspect of impulse spending. And we are still dealing with the aspect of having a supplementary. Okay, when you talk about having a plan, or is it possible to have a plan which you're following and still have another plan by the side to accommodate any other thing that comes up in the process?
Yes, of course. You do not just put all your resources into your plan, because there are other overheads or other costs, other expenses that will not wait for your plan to be achieved. I said earlier, if you're having a plan, look at your cash flow. If your cash flow maybe is a 500,000 naira on a monthly basis, tell yourself, how much can I discipline myself to keep aside monthly for my project? So if you're keeping 300,000 on a monthly basis, the other 200,000 naira is kept for your upkeep, for your runnings, for maybe one or two things that you need money for. Maybe your fueling, other overheads that may arise. So I think you cannot just take everything you earn, your cash flow, and put in your plans. No, it's not wisdom.
Okay, so it's possible to have a supplementary.
Yes, of course. You have to eat to look at your plan. You have to, of course, you have to look good to look at your plan. You cannot be running the plan with your eyes closed. You'll be frustrated, because at least you must be alive first to push that plan. That's how it is. So you just must have something aside to take care of your day-to-day runnings and expenditures.
Okay, now talking as a Christian, okay, talking as someone who's born again, I've heard a lot of persons, I've heard a lot of people who go to church, who are Christians, make emphasis on the fact that if you plan everything about your life, it simply means you don't have faith in God. So some persons who are Christians would say, if you have to plan even to the least of every detail of your life, it simply means there is no place for faith. So how do you balance the aspect of having faith and still being able to plan effectively without you seeming to be like you're in charge of your life by yourself?
This is a very interesting question. You know, when your faiths come interplay with secular or with reality of life, you must apply wisdom. The Bible told us, it said, faith without works is what? Is dead. The planning is the work. The planning you're doing is the work. Because if you call upon God to bless your efforts, of course God will. God will not open the sky and throw a bag of money for you. So you must have a plan. And even when God opens doors for you to give you breakthrough, God will not be happy if you waste his resources. So that's a plan coming. So that you're believing in God to empower you, to give you breakthroughs, to give you open doors to achieve your plans, you must also be mindful of wastes. You must have a plan. It makes you utilize God's resources properly and excellently. You will be happy. That is the truth, because you cannot use, of course, God hates waste. Jesus Christ, when he fed the people in the wilderness that were hungry, what happened? They packed the remnants. You could have said, it's not fish, it's not bread, let them leave it. No, they packed the remnants. Twice, they packed the remnants. It's not Bible. So anybody to say because he or she is a Christian, you will not watch wastes or eliminate wastes if you can, or you don't have a plan, I think the person is not telling herself the truth.
Yeah, because we're actually trying to balance the aspect of planning and faith. Is there a place you plan to an extent, and then you say, at this point, this is all I can do? Then you create a space where faith comes in, and you say, God needs to handle this other one because I don't have the capacity to actually deal with it. So where do you balance? Where do you draw the line between you being in charge of your life and the aspect where you say God is in charge of my life, so I'm going to surrender everything to him?
You know, Bible says, by strength shall no man prevail. Proverbs 16:3 says, commit your thoughts unto the Lord. He will establish your plans. Commit your thoughts. The thought is the plan you have. Your thought is that plan you've written down. God, I want to achieve this. I want to build a house. I want to get married. Start a business. This is your thoughts. These are your plans. But you need God's hands, because by strength shall no man prevail. If you commit this thought to his hands, he will perfect and ensure that your plans come to fruition. Because by strength shall no man, you can't do it in the nature of flesh. You need him. So that is where it comes in. You will do your work, but surrender. Lord, I've done everything within my strength. Now over to you, take over. Because without God, you can have a perfect plan, and one small challenge blew you off, and you go back to square zero. Have you not seen buildings abandoned for 20 years? Don't the owner has plans to build that house? Challenges just come, a person doesn't have God by his side, and that's all. So you can have a plan. If you don't bring God into it by strength, see, no man prevail. Papa has taught us too much. He has taught us over and over and over and over. So I don't believe anybody who is truly following our father, David Ibiomie, if you make mistake in this aspect, I don't know what to say. Because you should know that there's a level you get to say, God, this is you. Take over. Help me. God will not plan for you. God will not tell you how to use your 500,000 naira money salary to have it, to build a house. He won't do that for you. Are you the one calling God only in the word? There are billions of people calling the same God. He has principles you must go and follow. So if you follow his principles, you sit down to plan, you achieve your goal with ease. With ease. Okay, let me look at it in the Bible. When Joseph was working with Potiphar's house, God gave him an idea in Revelation that how to preserve food for the famine for any day. That's the plan. If that plan was not followed, they would have suffered famine, serious famine. Because of the idea God gave to Joseph, and they preserved food, and had abundance to even give to other people coming to ask for food during that time of famine. So because you are serving God, you will not preserve, you will not plan, you will not save, you will not plan. God is the God of miracle.
Because a lot of persons think that is faith, actually.
It is. It's madness. It's not faith. It's madness. God hates waste. God gives you a breakthrough, and the next thing you're talking about, you don't even have a house of yours, and you're just busy enjoying yourself, traveling. I have a friend who has two SUV and is living in a rented apartment.
Wow.
And the both cars together combined can get him a land, at least get a bungalow to some extent. I've talked. He told me that he said he waited for a very big breakthrough to just buy a house. That if you relax, people are building houses. That's so people are petty.
Wow.
If you see him talk, you believe that the word is in a sense. See, people are petty. What are people talking about? I just buy a house in Jari, demolish it and put one structure there. I said, okay. Why you're waiting for that one to buy a house? Bros, have a plan. No. Because age is counting. There's a night season coming close to you. So most of all these people, they make mistakes that it is hard to redeem, except God's intervention. So please, everybody must plan. No matter how spiritually sound you are, you must plan. God hates waste. God, you see, plan is in the Bible. God, there's no our Father in the Lord, Pastor David, he plans a lot. Nobody can achieve the things that we are seeing God using him to achieve without planning. Without planning. You know, he taught us some years back that when SMC knew, he didn't travel. He stayed in his assignment. But he could have afforded to travel that time. Because he knows the implication of spending at that time. It will affect the speeds of actualizing things which are set up in his goal, ministry-wise. It's self-restraint. And achieve a lot. Yes, so, okay, for example, let me give you an example. You're starting a business as an entrepreneur. You should know that nobody knows you yet in that area you're going into. You cannot afford to have a marketing manager, operation manager, and what have you. Please, you be the operating manager. You yourself be the marketing manager.
And the errand boy.
And the errand boy.
The errand boy also.
When you start getting the breakthrough, you will know when you are due to have people working for you. Because your system can accommodate, you can pay them well. You can't. Dream big is not bad. Papa told us always. He said you can dream big but start small. You know why? If you dream big and want to start big, challenges that will come to you are bigger than you, they will consume you. But if you grow, starting small to grow, you will be taught how to face challenges at every phase of your growth.
Wow. So talking about financial plan, we have some recommended books written by Pastor David Ibiomi. This says Enjoying Financial Prosperity. So for you to have a proper financial prosperous life, you need to gain wisdom. And how do you gain wisdom? Wisdom can be acquired in books. So here's one of the books. This is Enjoying Financial Prosperity. We have another book here, says 6 Steps to Multiplication. All right, in order to get to where you want to get to, you need wisdom. And all of the keys are in here. 6 Steps to Multiplication by David Ibiomi. We also have another one. This says Living Without Financial Pressure. So I think the reason a lot of persons are under pressure is because they fail to plan. So when you fail to plan, you find yourself in situations you did not plan for, and you begin to run helter-skelter. So there is a way to come out of financial pressure. Yes. And here is one of the ways to come out of financial pressure. It's a book titled Living Without Financial Pressure by Pastor David Ibiomi. And one other one, we have How to Come Out of Debt. The reason a lot of persons are in debt is because they don't plan.
Of course.
So you realize that you find yourself in a situation where most times is beyond your inflow, and you have to get
sort of.
You need to fix it.
That's why I said earlier that it's either your plan is too bogus compared to your cash flow, or you're too in a hurry to wait for the timeline.
So when you shoot above your size, you run into debt.
Of course. If your plan is to be actualized in 10 months and you want to activate the 2 months, you have to go and borrow. That is it, because you're not patient. You want to follow process.
Okay, so we have How to Come Out of Debt by David Ibiomi. This is another book you really need to read if you are having financial challenges and you're in debt. We have one other book titled The Principles of Covenant Wealth. The plan of everybody is to be big.
Of course.
The plan of everybody. In fact, at the end of every plan is a grandiose outcome. Like there's a projection. So in order to get there, there are steps to actually take to achieve the bigger picture. I've not seen anybody that has a plan and then the plan is very small. So for there to be a plan, it means there's something that is bigger than your present. So you are taking step by step to achieve it. So here are principles for covenant wealth, written by Pastor David Ibiomi. So yeah, do well to get all of these materials. Apart from just the teaching and the expose this morning, it will also help you to expand your knowledge. It will help you expand your insights. So the scripture will tell you that wisdom is the principal thing. So get wisdom, and in all your gettings, get understanding. So how do you get understanding? You understand by books. Yes. David. So one last thing before we move on. So how can one really build a financial plan and implement it? In just a nutshell, so we can round this up.
You don't really need much to build a financial plan, just your pen and your paper and discipline. Because anything you're putting down, you're writing down as your goal you want to achieve, your financial plans. If you don't have discipline, self-restraint, you can't actualize it. It's not possible. Because have you had most people do New Year resolution every year?
A lot of persons do that.
That is the plan.
Every
but
year.
How many goes back to open that note and check what was written therein? No, 10% of persons. So if you are disciplined, you will be your goals, your financial plan will move you, will restrain everything you do with your available flow. So having a financial flow is not rocket science. Just take a pen and a paper. Tell yourself, what do I want to achieve? And what's my time frame for achieving this goal? And what do I need to achieve this goal? Okay, write them down. What's my current cash flow? How much do I earn? How much do I get? How much am I expecting? How much is coming to me? Okay, how much can I keep aside for this project or for this goal, for these plans? You just have that done, right, in black and white, and discipline yourself to stick by it, and you will get there. Of course, the plan could be reviewed periodically, because you can have a plan to do a thing maybe for 1 million, and for any reason there is hike in price or there is trends affect your entire planning. Every plan has room for review. At least just keep your eyes on the focus your eyes on the plans, and you'll be there.
Thank you so very much. Focus, have a plan, and maintain focus on that plan.